February 13th, 2013. A family's life changes forever when 33-year-old Dawn Richburg arrives home to find they've been robbed.
Someone's broken into our home.
Police officers discover this is no ordinary home invasion.
Investigators arrive and find the body of her stepfather.
47-year-old Michael Barajas has been gunned down in his Colorado Springs home.
There were 2 gunshot wounds that he suffered.
They hit him through the heart and the spine. He died within seconds. He really didn't know what hit him.
The home's been ransacked and tagged.
There were a variety of phrases on the walls. One message left in the garage said, "You got jacked, fool." There were also references that seemed to suggest gang activity.
A week earlier, it's a typical American household. Michael, a mechanic,
Hey, you're early.
has been married to 52-year-old Sandra for almost 30 years.
Got time for a shower.
Yeah, you look like you need one.
Oh, come on, give me a hug, huh?
Mike, get out of here.
Everything seemed good. Mike and Sandy seemed happy. You know, just typical, normal family.
Hey, Mike, any chance of a loan?
Again?
He was the epitome of the hardworking everyman. He worked at a local auto repair dealership, doing repairs on used cars.
You look for any jobs today?
Mike's raised Sandra's 2 daughters as his own since they were youngsters.
Thanks.
When they got married, he was all about help raise Sandy's daughters.
This has got to stop, okay?
But the girls, now in their 30s, still expect Michael to support them financially.
He's like, I agreed to raise him, not to raise him the rest of my life. He was kind of getting tired of the financial drain.
Dawn didn't care that her parents had fallen on very, very hard financial times. That meant nothing to her.
And Dawn's running with a bad crowd, including 34-year-old Tommy Wright.
Dawn was drawn to Tommy because she sensed she could manipulate him.
Dawn soon has Tommy supplying her with drugs.
She was a methamphetamine user.
Prescription pills.
Marijuana and crack.
Get up! Get her up.
Dawn. Dawn.
Michael tries to put his foot down.
I warned you. No drugs under my roof.
You're not my father. Okay, hey, settle down.
No! But this is my house, and I don't want you in it.
He would always tell her, you know, I'm not going to put up with this forever.
You settle down.
But Sandra
You're not
sides with her
following
daughter,
again.
She goes or I go.
making Michael the outsider.
Sandra and Mike were not a united front regarding Dawn. Sandra was Dawn's friend. She made Mike the enemy.
Then what are you gonna do, huh?
Finally, Michael declares he's had enough.
I hate him.
He wanted a divorce and he was going to leave her.
Michael's the sole breadwinner. If he leaves, so does their cash flow.
They would have been in a real pickle. These were 2 women who had no interest in taking care of themselves at all.
But the fatal home invasion changes everything.
Dawn! What's happening?
Now Sandra realizes she's lost a good husband.
Sandra appeared to be acting completely the way somebody would if they were really concerned about what had happened inside the house.
Don's behavior is a little odd.
Dawn's demeanor in particular wasn't consistent with what you'd see from a woman who just lost her stepfather. She was almost emotionless.
But she has an alibi. Dawn produces time-stamped receipts that prove she can't be the killer.
I've got the receipts, I've got dates and times on them.
For a family member to volunteer time-stamp receipts proving they weren't at the house during the murder is a double take. Who does that?
Investigators find it all a little too convenient.
At that moment, Dawn drew red concentric circles right on her forehead.
Weeks turn into months. And there are still no arrests for the 2013 murder of Mike Barajas in his Colorado Springs home. Although police think his stepdaughter Dawn is acting strangely, they can't prove anything.
This case was hampered by thin evidence. There's a lot of suspicion, but little that's concrete.
Then the breakthrough. A car thief, recently arrested, wants to deal.
I'll confess.
Tommy Wright has quite a story.
It strikes you at first glance as something that is incredulous and could never happen in real life.
He says he knows Dawn Richburg and her sister. He met them at a gas station.
They strike up a conversation at the gas station. And they begin socializing and getting closer over a period of weeks.
Tommy confesses to doing drugs with Dawn. And it's then she shares a family secret.
Dawn claimed that Miguel Barajas was abusing Dawn's sister.
So why do you hate him so much?
He abused my sister.
It wasn't true. What kind of person does that? A psychopath.
Tommy says that he was swayed by the allegations of sex abuse.
Tommy's misguided loyalty to a new friend creates a death sentence.
When Dawn met Tommy at the gas station, she won the lottery.
February 13th, 2013. Thanks to Dawn, Tommy Wright knows just where to find a murder weapon. Or two.
He goes into the basement and he raids Miguel Barajas' gun cabinet, removing a .45 caliber pistol and a .30-06 rifle. He takes the weapons into Miguel Barajas' bedroom and crouches down by the bed and waits for Mr. Barajas to come home from work.
Mike came home early to get ready to go to Ash Wednesday Mass.
As Mr. Barajas steps through his bedroom door, Tommy opens fire, both weapons at the same time. He struck Miguel Barajas, who falls to the ground. The fatal shot entered his head below the chin.
To cover his tracks, Tommy tries to stage a gangland attack.
There was spray painting on the interior of the garage. was clear there was someone sending a message to the police.
He's going around the house, opening cupboards, slamming things, breaking glass. The phone rings.
A smarter killer might let it ring.
Hello?
And Tommy picks it up. It's Mike Barajas' brother.
Mike can't come to the phone right now.
Tommy stammers something about Mike being in the shower and hangs up the phone.
He's in the shower.
The caller has heard Tommy's voice, and so does the cab company that Tommy calls next.
Yeah, I need a cab.
Police use this recording and play it for the brother of Mike Barajas.
How long will it be? I'm in kind of a hurry.
He's 90% sure
Okay.
that the voice is that of the man who picked up the phone the night that he called seeking his brother.
Tommy didn't know what he was doing, and murder was way over his head.
You just sit tight.
Tommy's confession has police shaking their heads.
Kill him.
No, I can't do that.
We can make it worth your while.
Then he drops another bombshell.
Sandra was in full agreement.
So we're gonna do this.
We're gonna do this.
To the point that she even suggested a few tips to make the burglary look convincing.
He usually gets home about 6:30.
Sandra offers to pay $500 for the murder. Mother
Okay.
and daughter are in it together.
Sounds good to me.
$500. That's what 29 years of marriage and a person's life is worth.
This is another story of a mother and her kid using and abusing a nice, hardworking guy with a checkbook.
So far, I haven't seen a cent.
Tommy agrees to a police sting.
We need to meet.
He arranges to claim part of his reward from Sandra.
All right, we'll meet. Okay, we'll meet.
Sandra Barajas agreed to go to an ATM machine, pull out $300 in money, and meet him. And members of our local law enforcement were able to tail Sandra Barajas to that meeting location.
Hurry up.
Just slow down. It takes as long as it takes.
And finds the money,
Sandra and Dawn are arrested. But this daughter is not going down without a fight.
Immediately, she turned on her mother as the reason for her participation. And she describes only doing things because her mother made her do it.
Authorities discover Sandra has a gambling problem.
She spent all day long online gambling games.
Divorce leaves her with nothing. But Mike's life insurance will keep her habit alive.
Well, what was Sandra to do? Get a job? I don't think so. It was much easier to kill Mike and get the insurance money.
In 2014, Tommy Wright pleads guilty to second-degree murder. He's sentenced to 40 years in prison. Dawn Richburg also pleads guilty to second-degree murder. She receives 35 years behind bars.
There is no evidence that Dawn enjoyed killing her stepfather, but I don't think she gave two hoots and a holler about him either.
The longest sentence is reserved for the mastermind, Sandra Barajas.
A jury found Sandra Barajas guilty of first-degree murder. She received a life sentence without the possibility of parole, though she is appealing her conviction.
For the victim's family, the loss is compounded by betrayal. Mike gave everything to Sandra and her daughters. and in return, only greed.
You know, he didn't deserve to go out like this. He did the best he can, gave his life to those women, and for them to, you know, I guess betray him that way, it's just unforgivable.
"35-year-old Diana Hahn hopes her new job at the local supermarket will be the start of something. She's single and shy. Life has been passing her by.
Okay, so here's a box. Just start by stacking the shelves.
Diana is this mousy, quiet person who just keeps to herself. Doesn't bother anybody, no one bothers her.
For store supervisor Michael Daly, the new girl is a perfect opportunity for a new conquest.
Michael was always on the lookout for a quick and easy conquest, and she met the criteria. Lack of self-confidence, desperate for a relationship.
If you need anything, I'm your man.
Okay.
He's got girls all over the place. This guy is just running one girl after the next.
Diana's instantly smitten. Her new job is turning out better than she ever imagined. But she has no idea what she's getting into. Michael Daly has a family, 2 sons, and wife, Sherri.
They were high school sweethearts. She really lived to take care of her boys and her husband, Michael.
Have you done your homework?
Yeah.
I don't think Sherri knew about Michael's philandering for many years, and when she did find out, she didn't want to believe it. She still wouldn't leave him. For Sherri, marriage was forever.
Even after years of cheating, Sherri still hasn't given up on her husband.
You're late.
Bad traffic.
I'll heat you up some dinner.
I've eaten.
But you could have called.
Don't start.
She wasn't willing to throw in the towel, and she was trying to be that perfect wife.
But I've been waiting for hours.
Well, it wouldn't hurt for you to miss a meal. You look like a barn animal, getting fatter and uglier by the day.
Sherri became submissive and dutiful, trying to win Michael back, to get him to fall in love with her again. She was wasting her time.
Meanwhile, Michael seduces Diana with practiced ease.
Could Diana Hahn please go to the warehouse? Thank you.
She seemed somewhat desperate to have a close relationship with a male. She wanted to be loved. She wanted a family.
Diana lost herself in Michael. She lost her sense of self, if she ever had one, and her work ethic plummeted.
She and Michael Daly, they spent so much time together as opposed to working. They were separated and assigned separate departments.
It was a common knowledge at work that they were boyfriend, girlfriend.
Oh, sorry.
Once again, her husband's behavior is an embarrassment. But this time, Sherri's determined to fight back.
Will you be home for dinner tonight?
Don't know.
She loved her husband, but reached a point where he had damaged her so much she knew she couldn't stay with him.
I can't keep living like this.
She talked about leaving, and he said, "I'll never let you have the children."
I think we should separate.
I will never let you take my children.
Michael wants everything his way. Children, lovers, and drugs. Diana is happy to play along. even signing herself over for his pleasure.
This is for you. This is a declaration that you own my body.
She signed a contract that she would devote her body and mind to him. She merged with Michael.
Diana seems up for anything.
It's your birthday coming up. What do you want?
I want Sherri dead.
For the first time in her life, Diana has a man who wants her. It's an opportunity she can't resist.
She wanted to slip right into the life of being Michael's wife.
Diana would get the instant family love and endless adoration that she craved.
But Sherri makes the first move.
Diana, are you sleeping with my husband?
Yes, I am.
Stop destroying my family.
Sherri confronted Mike and Diana at their place of employment.
Let's go home and talk about this.
Sherri said she was going to pound her into the ground if she didn't leave her husband alone.
It's a declaration of war, and neither woman is about to back down. Shy, mousy Diana has been transformed by love. Now she'll do anything to keep it. She vows Michael Daly will be hers or nobody's.
Diana told a coworker she was going to commit a human sacrifice for a friend for a birthday gift.
Diana goes out and she buys an axe, a wig, some handcuffs, and a fake police badge. It was nowhere near Halloween. What the hell was she planning?
Across town in Ventura, Sherri Daly's shopping trip takes an unexpected turn.
As she walked out of the store, her life changed forever. Diana pulls in behind her, similar to what a police officer would do.
Ma'am, I'm a police officer, and you're under arrest.
Posing as a police officer, Diana captures her prey almost too easily.
Sherri went with her, handcuffed. She didn't question authority.
I think that she was taken aback, did not recognize Diana, and she submitted to what she believed the authority of the state, a police officer, and she followed the directions.
But it doesn't take long for Sherri to wise up.
It wasn't until she was completely immobilized and able to move in the back seat that she realized it was Diana Hahn.
And that's when things went bad.
What are you doing? Get off me!
Diana is fulfilling her lover's birthday wish. Despite a severe head wound, Sherri is not dead. But Diana's not done yet.
The knife was actually twisted once it had penetrated through Sherri's ribcage. The twisting of the knife clearly indicated a great deal of hatred, passion, pure evil.
I mean, this was just mayhem. Violent, violent mayhem.
How can you do this to her? You know, such a sweet person.
For former Detective Matt Harville, the case will become especially shocking.
Sherri was a friend of mine. We went to high school together.
He recognizes the victim's name when her husband reports her missing.
My wife is missing.
Several detectives, myself included, went to Michael's house, and I spoke to Michael personally. Just general questions.
Is there any reason why Sherri would leave?
I asked him if there was anything that we should know about, because we're going to explore all avenues.
I have a girlfriend.
And he provided me with her phone number.
Detective Harville has no reason to suspect Michael until the next morning when he visits Diana.
Good morning, ma'am.
She came to the door. She was dressed in a very revealing nightie. Black van was in the driveway of Diana's house, and that was the same black van that Michael Daly owned.
Michael, come out. Michael, come out.
And at that point, Mike came from a room at the back of the house, and he was dressed in a pair of boxer shorts.
I'm gonna need you both to come down to the station.
The police found Michael and Han together having sexual intercourse. Not exactly the thing that the grieving husband does the day after his wife was kidnapped.
Michael and Diana's future together lasts less than 48 hours. They've left a long trail of evidence.
We had bank records. We knew where she had written checks recently.
Diana's checks lead straight to a wig shop. Other documents lead to the murder weapon.
How do you purchase an axe, kill somebody with that axe, and then think, I'm not gonna get caught?
Police trace a rental car in Diana's name.
The car was full of blood, fiber and hairs and things of that nature from Sherri's murder.
There are even witnesses to the kidnapping at the shopping center.
The witnesses saw the female driver get out, who we ultimately identified as Dinah Hahn.
They left an incredible trail, and we were able to put this case together to a powerful, beyond any reasonable doubt case.
Confronted by the truth, Michael tries to throw his lover under the bus.
Mike loved Diana so much, he blamed her for singularly killing Sherri. That's how devoted he was.
It doesn't work. In 1997, the birthday boy is convicted of kidnapping, conspiracy, and first-degree murder. He's sentenced to life without parole. All Diana ever wanted was a life with a happy ending. Instead, she receives a life sentence. Guilty of first-degree murder, she has no chance of parole.
They will spend the rest of their lives in prison suffering every day.
For some people, falling in love with the right person brings out the best in them. In Diana's case, falling in love with Michael brought out the worst.
Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
Peter, let me introduce my daughter, Shane.
Shane Mills is rich, beautiful, and spoiled.
I've heard a lot about you too, Mr. Samuel.
Shane Lovera was treated like a little princess when she was a girl and a teenager.
I'm so proud of her.
But Shane wasn't born into wealth.
Her mother and she were poor, and her mother met Brent Mills, who was a bank president, and they married into that family, and Brent adopted Shane.
Now, thanks to Brent, Shane lives the high life.
I want to be a broadcast anchor.
So you're looking at the next Diane Sawyer.
Brent Mills was a very prominent person, had a lot of friends, had been good to a lot of people. And so he was well regarded.
But in 1984, cracks appear in the Mills' perfect world.
We're looking into several of your accounts where there appear to have been, let's say, odd transactions.
Brent's bank is probed for financial malpractice.
The bank that Brent managed was under investigation. That quickly turned into Brent was under investigation.
What do you mean by odd?
Brent Mills was under some pressure. There were all kinds of differing allegations about his involvement.
This is an outrage. Waste as much time as you want.
During the investigation, Brent makes a fateful decision.
He takes his own life, the family's held up to public ridicule, and then all the assets were seized. That was the trifecta of loss.
Oh, that's just outrageous.
Well then, honey, don't read it.
Shane went from being one of the richest girls in Gatlinburg to having nothing.
But how can people be so insensitive?
Right as she's graduating high school.
Shane couldn't deal with it.
You can't worry about what other people say. Don't let it get to you.
I won't.
Shane flees to college in Missouri to escape the gossip and scandal. But she's deeply affected by her loss.
Shane absolutely was left adrift without Brent, so she definitely would have been in search of a father figure, really.
Enter kind-hearted fellow student, 20-year-old Kelly Lovera.
Hard at it.
Not for long. Jenny's having a party. You coming?
I'm studying. I suggest you do the same.
No, I need a break.
Shane's big dream was to become a famous TV broadcaster, but she didn't want to do the work.
While Kelly studies hard to be a teacher, Shane prefers to have a good time.
You sure you don't want to come? It'll be fun.
He was very calm. He was gracious.
One of us has to graduate.
He was polar opposite to Shane. So in a lot of ways, he sort of fell under her shadow.
No kiss?
Despite their differences, within a year, they get married.
Why she married Kelly is beyond my comprehension. Shane wanted the finer things in life without working for them. He was a struggling student whose goal was to get an advanced degree and be a math teacher.
Shane returns to her hometown in Tennessee. But she no longer lives on Millionaire's Row. Now her address is Frog Alley.
Frog Alley is where the working poor live. To come back and settle in Frog Alley would have been extremely embarrassing to her.
Kelly's teacher's salary barely covers the bills. And now they have 2 kids to support.
Okay, I want to see your cards first.
But Shane's not the motherly type. She likes to party.
I got a flush. I win.
And regularly invites men home, right in front of her family.
I think Shane got tired of being a mom probably within a few years of having her 2 children.
What you need?
Okay, I need one. What have you got for me?
Shane wanted to be free and single and date lots of guys.
Not bad.
That's exactly how she acted.
I like what I'm seeing.
Except she was a mom and a wife.
Okay, it's bath time.
You deal with them. I'm entertaining.
Okay, let's go.
When Kelly's busy with the kids, Shane's busy with her lovers.
Shane started having affairs, multiple affairs at the same time, in her apartment complex.
But she's looking for more than just sex.
You're so much better than Kelly.
Well, I don't believe him then.
Or you could poison him.
Shane started joking around to her lovers about the possibility of poisoning her husband. They thought she was joking.
I'm serious.
But she was testing the waters.
Yeah, right.
I think she was on the hunt for a killer.
Mom Shane Lovera is cheating on her husband, Kelly. Most of her lovers are happy to just fool around, but neighbor Brett Ray is smitten.
Brett fell very hard for Shane. So they began an affair very quickly, and it was hot and heavy.
Shane's not just attracted to Brett for his looks.
Brett was a rich kid by virtue of his father. His father was a newspaper publisher. He was a well-to-do guy.
Brett stands to inherit one day, but until then, he lives life in the fast lane.
He was just wild. He was just one of these people that was full on all the time. He was up for anything.
For Shane, wow, that's what she wanted.
I wish we could be together.
I'd do anything to be with you, baby.
Anything?
Anything.
Shane offers a deal.
If he would help her to get rid of Kelly, then he would get her. And that's what Brett wanted.
November 5th, 1994. Shane and Brett plan a night together. But Kelly is asleep on the couch.
It was then that Shane saw a perfect opportunity to kill him.
They haven't brought a murder weapon, so they grab what's at hand.
She chose to beat him over the head with a baseball bat when he was sleeping. And she did it in her own home with her children nearby. Not only did she take her children's daddy away, she gave them an indelible memory they will never be able to get over.
We need to make it look like an accident.
Yeah, okay.
Get him to the car.
The plan was to put him in his own vehicle and make it look like an accident.
Brett drives 10 miles to the edge of the city.
Once Brett found a good pull-off point, he stopped the Jeep. And he rolled the Jeep down the embankment.
Hours later, Kelly's body is discovered. It looks like he's run off the road. But why isn't he behind the wheel?
The evidence at the crash did not indicate that it would have been hard enough to have thrown him into the back seat.
Closer investigation raises more questions.
The blood pattern was all off. There was pooling of blood in the back instead of forward momentum on blood.
Police already suspect foul play when they call on Shane to inform her Kelly is dead.
Did your husband have any enemies?
Kelly had no enemies.
Shane plays the grieving widow. But an officer spots something. The crime lab team arrives with luminol.
Okay, hit the lights.
According to one of the officers, he described it as it lit up like a Christmas tree.
What do you think happened here?
Whatever Shane feels for her rich lover, it vanishes in the police interview.
Brett must have done
Why?
She weaves a tale of an insane man who killed her husband to get to her.
it. He's obsessed with me. I've always found him a little scary.
That's pure narcissism.
Incredibly, Brett takes the fall.
Shane had nothing to do with it. It was between me and Kelly. We got in a fight. I didn't mean to kill him.
You know, she's ready to throw you under a bus.
She had nothing to do with it.
Brett Ray put on no defense, which I thought was the ultimate act of love, but also the ultimate act of stupidity.
In 1995, Brett Ray is convicted of first-degree murder and gets life in prison.
He had the saddest eyes of any person I've ever seen in court.
Brett's loyalty doesn't save Shane. She too gets life for first-degree murder with a minimum of 25 years. Shane Lovera leaves 2 children with no parents and a husband who pays for her greed with his life.
Shane wanted what she wanted, and she wanted it now. And that meant Kelly had to die.